There's a strange calm that follows heartbreak. Not at first. No, first there's fire, noise, sleepless nights, a mind that won't stop spinning. You question everything. What went wrong? What you could have done differently? How something so real could become so empty? But she walks away like it's nothing. No tears, no pause, no regret. At least, not yet. She laughs in the company of others, posts pictures with forced smiles, keeps herself busy with distractions that look like confidence. And to the outside world, it seems like she's winning the breakup. Like losing, you didn't hurt her at all. But what no one sees is time. Time has a funny way of peeling back the layers, of revealing what ego tries to bury. Right now, she doesn't regret it, because she's too caught up in the rush of being free. Free from expectations, from effort, from the quiet responsibility that comes with being loved fully by someone who was truly present. You were that someone, the one who stayed when she was distant, who listened when she was silent, who held space for her even when she didn't know how to show up properly. And in the moment, she couldn't see it, or maybe she did, but thought it would always be there, no matter how recklessly she treated it. It's easy to take something for granted when it shows up consistently, when love comes without games, without manipulation, without conditions. She mistook your steadiness for simplicity, your loyalty for weakness, your patience for passivity, but those were the exact things that made you rare. She doesn't regret losing you because she hasn't yet felt the weight of what she let go. Not truly, not fully. That realization, it comes later. It arrives slowly, disguised in small, quiet moments she never saw coming. It hits when the attention fades, when the people she surrounded herself with stop calling, when the late nights become lonely again, not exciting, when she reaches for a presence that isn't there and finally notices the silence. That's when it starts. Regret doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it creeps in through the spaces where your love used to live, in the way no one quite listens like you did. No one notices the details. No one remembers the way she likes her coffee, the way she needs reassurance when she's overwhelmed, the way her silence isn't confidence. It's a cry she doesn't know how to voice. Regret begins quietly, like a whisper in the back of her mind. She won't speak it out loud, because to admit it would mean facing the truth she tried so hard to avoid, that she walked away from something real, something steady, something that doesn't come around often. She tells herself she made the right choice, that she outgrew you, that it just wasn't meant to last, and maybe she even believes it for a while. But belief and truth aren't the same thing. Truth lives beneath the surface, waiting for the stillness. And when things finally slow down, when the noise fades, and she's left alone with her thoughts, that's when the truth catches up. It starts with small things, a memory triggered by a familiar song, a random place that reminds her of a moment with you, the realization that the people she's surrounded by now don't really know her. Not in the way you did, not in the way you studied her, learned her, cared without needing to be asked. And that's when it hits. What she lost wasn't just a person, it was a mirror, a home, a presence that made her feel grounded in a world that constantly pulls people apart. She thought she needed freedom, space, something new, but what she really needed was healing. And instead of facing her own broken pieces, she pushed away the one person who could see them without judgment. You never needed her to be perfect. You just needed her to be honest. But honesty was too raw, too vulnerable, too exposing. So she chose distance over depth, control over connection. And now, all that's left is the echo of what could have been. You were never just nice, you were rare. The kind of rare that doesn't demand attention, but commands respect through quiet presence. The kind that doesn't need to prove anything because it simply shows up day after day, steady, consistent, unshaken by games or trends or the superficial rush of temporary affection. And while she explores those temporary highs, you're learning something too. You're learning that your love isn't a weakness, it's a filter, a test, a mirror that reveals who's ready to show up and who's not. So no, she doesn't regret losing you now, but she will. Not because you've changed, but because you've grown. And growth has a way of creating distance from everything that couldn't meet you where you were. The real shift happens when you stop waiting for her to see it. When your healing no longer depends on her apology, when your growth is no longer about making her notice, that's when you become truly untouchable, not in a prideful way, but in a grounded, centered way that no longer needs to be validated by the one who walked away. Because while she's scrolling through highlight reels and surrounding herself with temporary people, you've been rebuilding something real, yourself, slowly, quietly, in ways that don't need to be posted or proven. You've been working on the parts of you that were stretched thin, trying to carry a connection that required only one set of shoulders. You've stopped trying to convince someone to appreciate what they were never ready to hold. And here's what's inevitable. At some point, she'll look around and realize something is missing. Not someone to text, not someone to flirt with, not a warm body beside her, but presence. Real presence. The kind that listens, supports, builds. She'll compare every new connection to the one she walked away from. And not because she wants to, but because the soul remembers what the mind tries to forget. It's in those quiet realizations that regret grows the loudest. Not with drama, not with tears, but with an ache that lingers in the background of everyday life. An ache that says, I had something real and I let it go. She might never say it out loud. Pride rarely lets us, but she'll feel it. She'll feel it when the attention she once craved begins to feel empty, when the excitement fades and all that's left is a craving for stability she once found in you. When she finds herself explaining basic parts of who she is to people who only want the surface, when she realizes that your love didn't just offer comfort, it offered growth, challenge, patience, safety, things that don't come packaged in every new connection, but by then, you won't be where she left you. Because healing changes people, not in loud, dramatic ways, but in the subtleties, the way you hold your boundaries now, the way you no longer reach out just to keep the peace, the way you've made peace with your own company. That's the power of letting go with grace. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're just done. She'll feel it when the attention she once craved begins to feel empty, when the excitement fades and all that's left is a craving for stability she once found in you, when she finds herself explaining basic parts of who she is to people who only want the surface, when she realizes that your love didn't just offer comfort, it offered growth, challenge, patience, safety, things that don't come packaged in every new connection. But by then, you won't be where she left you, because healing changes people, not in loud, dramatic ways, but in the subtleties, the way you hold your boundaries now, the way you no longer reach out just to keep the peace, the way you've made peace with your own company. That's the power of letting go with grace. You're not angry, you're not bitter, you're just done.